Welcome, everyone. This is the Real Purpose Podcast, and I am Michelle Carr.
And I'm Suzy Rounce. And this podcast is all about finding real purpose in our business, community, and lives.
So, Suzy, welcome.
Thank you.
Today we have you instead of Trevor, which is exciting and fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
So, November, we have Remembrance Day.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also, to me, a time of gratitude.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like it's important to remember the people that have fought for our freedoms and that continue to fight and help others and all that kind of stuff. But the next feeling after that is gratitude for what
100%.
What they've done.
Totally.
And then I just got to thinking about gratitude in general and how important that just generally is. An attitude of gratitude, they say, right?
Absolutely.
So what are your thoughts?
It's transformational. I mean, I've read enough books and watched enough podcasts and, or listened to enough podcasts and read books and watched movies and things that really it isn't about just being grateful. Being happy makes you grateful, and it's really easy to be grateful when you're happy. Yeah. But can you be happy because you're being grateful? Like, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It does.
I think it's huge. I think it's really hard to remember when, think it doesn't feel like things are going all your way. But definitely in the case of Remembrance Day, like you're talking about, I always force myself to really take time and watch hard documentaries and rewatch movies, which I know is they're just movies. They're not real. But at the same time, a lot of it obviously is all real stories. And it's my way of trying to connect and be like, wow, next time I'm crying over spilled milk. Right. Maybe I shouldn't.
Well, and it was funny too because, well, not funny, but on Remembrance Day weekend, or actually right on Remembrance Day, we watched Hacksaw Ridge as a family.
Yeah.
And when we were watching, Smith didn't watch all of it because she's quite young. Right. So she covered her eyes for the battle scenes, which weren't until about halfway through the movie.
Right.
But it was a great movie. There's great lessons. It's a great story. But kind of watching that, and our son who, loves to play video games and all this kind of stuff, and then this war movie, and some of it was probably a bit more graphic than I should have let my 11-year-old watch.
Right.
But it was that, this is a true story. Mm-hmm. This isn't far-fetched from what was actually happening. In fact, I'm sure parts of it are 100% accurate.
Oh, yeah.
And I tried to use that as a way to put it into perspective. So when your phone dies, your legs didn't get blown off.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's not really a problem.
And I think, too, it's sometimes when we can be grateful for the small things, it helps us to be grateful for the bigger things.
Totally. Actually, I was just thinking about that the other day, that it feels like it's like a training you have to do for yourself, where it's like if you train your mind to really appreciate and notice all the little things and get excited about those things. I think that's something like get excited when Trevor brings me hot coffee every single morning, right? Yeah. Like it's like little things like that if you remember and train yourself for that then when things aren't going your way or when things actually are really tough, that you still notice all those little things. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing, even this, $6 coffee that we just buy because you just do kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But to take a moment and just be like, I'm really grateful that I can, one, afford to buy that coffee, that I can support, a business in doing so. Mm-hmm. But that's even a possibility. Mm-hmm. There are places in this world where that's just not a caramel brulee latte is like a foreign language to someone.
Yeah, totally.
And I think if we do take those moments and realize how amazing so many things in our lives are, it just shifts perspective, right? Mm-hmm. And even the little stuff. Mm-hmm. Breathing.
Yeah, totally.
I mean,
absolutely.
That's kind of a big deal.
Being able to see and hear and, eat and taste things properly and all those kinds of things. Yeah. Do you have a gratitude journal? Do you have a gratitude practice or anything that you do?
I did have a journal for a while, and I liked that, but I kind of felt like I, quote unquote, wasn't doing it right.
Oh, really? What did you think?
Very type A.
Yeah, well,
I was doing this right.
What did you think you were doing wrong?
It felt like I wasn't writing down meaningful enough things.
Okay.
Or the same things over and over. Because I'm perpetually grateful for my family and for my husband, my children.
Yes.
I'm grateful to have a roof over my head. You know, all those things.
Yeah.
And there was part of me that felt like bad if I didn't write that down because I am grateful for those things. Okay. But I also felt like lame writing the same thing down.
That's true. Yeah, I heard a definition once. Like, did you do it in the morning or at night?
At night.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to say it seems like a big thing that's like helpful for people where, you know, the way that I've heard it described is that it's not any of the big things like your family, your health, like that's assumed that it's all about looking throughout the day for the little things like, you know, slipping on a patch of ice but not actually falling or, you know, a really pretty sunrise or something that morning. So like just looking at things specific in that day or like something that smelled really great or that it's just the little things in that day that you're looking for so that you're training your brain again to just kind of be searching it for the day. And that's why doing it at the end of the day is always really helpful. So it sounds like you're doing it exactly right. You just feel like you should be just doing something different, you know, kind of for that too.
I remember hearing a podcast once and they were talking about a gratitude practice and they were saying that instead of trying to list 3 things, think of one thing and then dive deeper into it. Yeah, like why you're really grateful for that. Right. And like the details specifically about that. So like, I'm grateful for my husband. Okay, but like dig into it. Right. You know, and like think about, is it the coffee in the morning? Is it the hugs? Is it whatever the case may be? But to dig into it. And I think when we have that shift, it just changes your perspective on everything, you know?
Yeah, and I heard too that it actually rewires your brain. So because we're all so hardwired to look for danger, to stay alive and not get chased by tigers and like those things it goes back to, that, you know, we're just predisposed. And it's like 3 to 1 or something to notice the negative over the positive. At least it might even be higher than that. So unless you're training yourself to counteract it with all the positives, it's almost impossible for you to feel grateful or happy or joyful because it's how we're wired to always look for danger and caution and things to be on the lookout for. So it's interesting when you think of it that way too. You're like, oh yeah, like this. I try to think of it. It doesn't mean I always do it, but I try to think of it as something that should be just as important as drinking enough water, as getting enough sleep, as exercising. Only because I've heard of all the things that it's so important for. Yeah. But I always feel like gratitude is something you should share though. Like I always feel weird just doing. Like I almost feel like it would be better to the 5 things every night you're grateful for, write them down and actually just text them to somebody. Yeah. Like a different person every night or something, as opposed to just like keeping them to yourself and writing down.
That's a really cool idea.
Because wouldn't you like help spread it more that way? Yeah. I don't know. It's just kind of, there's something about it just staying that I always kind of feel like, oh, well, I should be sending these to Trevor or sending them to my mom if it's about her, like, or even just general observations that people maybe would enjoy and be like, yeah, you're right. I am grateful for that. Yeah. You know, like fuzzy socks or, you know, shoes that don't hurt your feet.
That's a great idea.
Maybe we should start a new trend.
There we go. No, I love that because you're saying feel grateful, have gratitude, but share it with either the person it pertains to or just someone you care about. Right? Because if someone is having a bad day, like let's say, I remember this one particular time, I was dropping something off at a friend's place and they had this beautiful tree in the front yard with these little red, I think they were berries. I don't know. Not a horticulturalist. Whatever. They were pretty. And the snow was just laying perfectly on the branches, but these berries were so bright red. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's gorgeous. So I took a photo of it and I like posted it on social media probably like 100 times later on. But it was like, that's such a beautiful thing. And it's just, it's right there. There's natural beauty everywhere.
Totally.
But it could have been so much better if I had texted that photo to my friend.
Totally.
And said, you have such beauty right in your front yard.
Yeah, totally.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like you like leveled it up there. I love that.
I don't know. It would be neat. Yeah, it's like the traveling gratitude or something. I don't know.
I love that, traveling gratitude. Like pay it forward, pass it on.
I think it's like in thinking about communities and cities and kind of just like, it feels like the news has been pretty heavy lately with everything. Is like things are like not necessarily as awesome as they once were when it comes to like economy wise, right? But it's like, yeah, there are so many other things and these things it just happened. So it's kind of like, it just feels like we almost need to counteract some of that. So it's like, it would be almost fun starting like a text chain letter of gratitude, like, you know, challenging people to think of those things and post stuff. And there is a little bit of it though. I was challenged on Facebook the other week. I think I challenged you.
I know,
actually.
and I totally forgot to post. I'm so sorry.
It was hard to remember, but so the challenge was 5 photos for 5 days, black and white, no people, no captions. So what I loved about it is that it actually did force me. I should have treated it more like a gratitude thing, but it did kind of turn into that because you're like, well, what's something that I want to take a picture of that's not my dog or my husband or me? Like, and it's like, okay, well, what do I like? Like, what looks pretty? What kind of says a little bit of a story? So there was actually something about that kind of is a little bit like that forces you to just think different. And in lots of ways, I think that's kind of what Instagram was initially started for. You know, you just took pictures of everything that had these beautiful moments. And it's like we've kind of forgotten that a little bit. But
now we're comparing ourselves. What did someone say the other day? We're comparing our director's cut to their final, or say it was something. It was basically the idea was when you compare to what people are posting on Instagram, like that's the curated bit, not the reality.
It's so true.
And it has turned into that. But that's what I loved about Instagram initially.
Me too.
Was that like I just followed people that posted pretty things. And I still do. I still do. Like if people are posting stuff that I don't care for anymore. I don't follow them anymore.
No, me neither. I go to my way to look for pretty pictures of food and maybe settings and grass and flowers. Like that's what I want to see.
Exactly. It's pretty. It's nice. Well, and don't you love to be around people who are grateful? You know, I think like one, it's a positive attitude. They're generally happier people. But I like to be around businesses and people that are grateful. And it's interesting, like if you look at even businesses that are posting on Instagram or how you're treated when you're in their facility or in their store or whatever, if there's a sense of gratitude, I want to keep going back. It's like you want to keep the cycle going. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is an interesting premise of something that I think it almost sounds too easy to work. Or like it's almost too trendy or something for people to really take it seriously. But it's so important. Yeah, and especially when you talk with Remembrance Day and you think of what people actually had to go through. Something that always gets me on that front is thinking of people coming to settle the West, right? Like it's like Trevor and I always laugh about playing like Oregon Trail, I think was the computer game, like the first computer game you played. And Trevor found it in like a retro thing online somehow. And we played and like I died of like malaria in like 2 days. Trevor got his legs chopped off, like somebody else. And it's like, we did our whole team. We put our whole team on the wagon and we tried to go. I think I stole somebody else's food. So then one of our teammates starved, which is ironic because that's kind of probably like something I would do. But like it was comical. It was hilarious. But at the same time, it's like it does make you think. You're like, who were those crazies that came west freezing cold when it's like so cold and so rough and made all of this? Like that blows my mind.
It takes so much courage to do that. And I'm grateful they did, because honestly, if I had gotten to Saskatchewan and saw nothing but snow, I would have been like,
let's wrap this up.
Let's turn this cart around, friends. We're going back.
Totally.
Because one, you can't see the Rockies at that point.
No.
But look at those people. They persevered. And look where we get to live. It's pretty awesome.
It's amazing.
But yeah, it's funny when you really put into perspective history and where people have come from and where things were. I think it's such a profound way to have gratitude for the simplest thing, like having electricity and indoor plumbing and things of that nature. And we are just, we are so fortunate in the times that we live in. And although that there is a lot of, political turmoil and strife, and there are still, conflicts in the world and all that kind of stuff, we also are living in a time like no other. And
the best time that ever was.
And I think we have the ability to make it better because we're having these conversations about being more grateful. We're learning to listen to each other as human beings and understand that we can disagree, but we don't have to be mean to one another.
Yeah.
We're starting to really figure that out. And I hope it continues. But like we're also doing stuff like, you know, cleaning up the plastic in the ocean and, you know, like we're aware of these things. And I think we're starting to make efforts in that direction.
Yeah.
So it's like climate change is scary, but I could go down a wormhole of reading really depressing statistics.
Right.
How about I just be aware of it and instead go down a wormhole of how to make it better?
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
True. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah.
I had a good question for you and it escaped my mind. On the oceanfront thing, I just heard the other day too about the bubble belts. Did you hear about these?
Bubble belts?
Yeah, they started doing them. I don't know if it was in Venice or like somewhere. I know there's bad floods and stuff in Venice, but they have like a strip and they force air through it. So it makes all little bubbles, like in a fish tank, kind of what you see. And they come up, and because it comes from the bottom of whatever riverbed or something like that, any garbage that's floating in the water that ends up in the ocean gets pushed to the side, and then they can just collect it all because it, like, you know what I mean? It just floats
forces
it to the
it
top.
Up, all the debris.
Yeah, and then it kind of pushes it over the way they have it funneled, and then they just literally have to scoop it up and they can get it before it goes to the ocean because it just like collects it all. So I was like, what a simple, and they say it's good for the fish because it oxygenates the water and like stops blue algae and all those things from forming because it's like just keeping the air and stuff.
It's like making the ocean into a fish tank.
Kind of, yeah, which kind of sounds, I'm like, oh, well, is that all good? But yeah, anyway, I thought that was kind of neat. So it's like,
that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess what I was thinking, my question kind of has to do then with tying it in with your business. Like community wise, I think it's easy, but how do you show gratefulness then in your business? Like, I know you're saying you enjoy going to places where you feel grateful, but how do you think like business owners or entrepreneurs and stuff could maybe apply that sort of the idea of gratitude into their everyday with their team or with customers?
I think one of the simplest things you can do, and something that we try and do, Matt's really good at this, is a thank you card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't love a written thank you note?
Mm-hmm.
Just expressing your gratitude to someone for whether it be their business or for their friendship or their support or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. But to receive a written card thanking someone, I think is incredibly profound. And I think it's very meaningful. I know that if I receive a written card, it's very meaningful to me. And because I know it takes time. Like, you literally have to think about what you're writing and write it out.
Yeah.
And
put a stamp on it and find a mailbox. It is true. There's something about those little bits of barriers that...
And I think it's really thoughtful. And I think any business can do this. Mm-hmm. Any business can do this. You can, I mean, so many businesses collect, email addresses, and I'm very much a proponent of handwritten notes. Mm-hmm. But if your business is more email based, instead of sending like a mass email, what if you just sent a direct personal email to a couple of your customers once a month, just saying, hey, thanks for being a part of my list. This isn't going out to everyone. It's just to you specifically, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think sometimes when we are in a business where we offer a service, we don't always thank our client for the business. Right. So I think if we send a thank you card to them for that, I think it can go a long way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's a simple and effective solution, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Thank you is probably the most underrated form of gratitude.
I agree.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's the most obvious.
Yeah.
But it's
a real genuine.
The most profound.
Yeah.
And I don't think we realize how profound it is. Mm-hmm. I remember I was the vice chair for the 2014 Summer Games. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we did as an executive committee is we had a meeting with all of the Alberta Sport Connection people during the games. It was like one of these meetings we went to. Right. And they said, okay, so what about volunteers? How's that going? And what needs to be done? Whatever. And I said, and I choked up. I'm probably going to choke up now. But I said, they just need to be thanked. Just say thank you. Yeah. You know, we all have a bazillion t-shirts in the drawer or whatever. And yes, that stuff's nice to have. Some people really love to collect it. Some people don't care at all. Yeah. But at the end of the day, just looking someone in the eyes and saying, thank you. Thank you for giving your time to come and help us out. That has so much more value than anything else. And I'm helping out with the 2020 games.
Yes.
So I was at a meeting recently with a parent council group at one of the schools that we're utilizing.
Yep.
And hoping to get engagement from the families and stuff. And I was finishing up my bit and I said, I want to thank you guys. Like, parent council is a tremendous amount of work. They're dealing with a lot of issues. They're working with the trustees, all this kind of stuff. I just was sitting in on it for a few minutes before my bit.
Right.
And I just said, thank you. Because you are working for not just your child, but for hundreds of children to make their education experience better. And I really appreciate that. And I tried to look around the room and make eye contact with people, because I think there are so many people that give of themselves out there, but no one looks them in the eye and says, thank you for that time. So I think thank you is probably the best thing that we can do.
Totally. For teams too. It's always the number one thing, more than pay and compensation is appreciation. Always. So and again, underappreciated or like undersought, I guess.
Exactly. So tell us a little bit about that, because you guys have a team and it's a different structure because they're contract. Yep. Right. So it's interesting though. And this is why I want you to speak on it, because you have a team of people that are all contracted. So it's not like they come in, swipe in, go to the lunchroom. There's none of that. Sometimes it's like off-site work too. It's not like you guys all sit in the same space.
It's all remote. Yeah.
So how do you maintain that sense of gratitude and appreciation for your team when they're, one, contract, and two, not even physically there?
Yeah, that's true. It is a challenge for sure. And it's something that we're always super aware of, is because we do want it to still feel like a team. And I think, people like, being on contract and they have got all their own things on the side and a couple of them aren't even full time with us. So they've got multiple things that they're doing. And it's just that you still want it to be this great place to go where, and by go, I mean like virtually go in your mind, or chatting on Slack, or just ways that we get together. We still try to get together for meeting once a week, and we have a Zoom meeting once a week. So we still get that connection. And then we use tools like Slack, literally kind of for slacking off, I guess, more than anything. We don't use it as like an efficiency tool. We use it as a place for people to put what's going on with their cat or with their dog, or like little updates on things. And I think as long as it stays, kind of under control in terms of still being focused and everybody's really focused on what they're doing. Yeah. But it becomes where you can actually support, your team and each other, and kind of give that appreciation and that thanks, and like keep people engaged. And then just finding little ways. I mean, we try to have a team hang out once a month. We've done like dip offs and cookie cook-offs.
Whoa. What's a dip off?
Everybody has to make their own dip from scratch. And then we vote on everything, and we always have like a prize. So everybody just puts in a random container. Everybody blind votes, and then we've got a gift for whoever wins the best dip.
What a great idea.
But Trevor laughed because he always says that it's just like was my way to like con a whole bunch of dips, like because usually the hangouts are at our house. So like said it was a way for like me to, because like I love like chips and dip and guacamole and like anything like that. But the only thing I like more is wings. So next time we need to have like a wing off.
Oh, that's a
wings are hard to make though, unless you're
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe you can make them in your Instapot.
I bet you I could.
I'm sure you could.
I'm going to reach out to Steph and ask her.
Yeah,
can you do wings in there? Maybe.
But yeah, appreciation is, and it's hard to remember because sometimes you think, oh, well, that's just kind of your job. Like, why do I need to thank you for doing your job? And you're like, well, everybody needs that. And it's about how people do it, or the spin they brought to it, or just their flavor of making your life easier, or understanding something. And just remembering to take the time to thank people for that, either in person or virtually. I think it all matters. Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're all people.
Yes.
Right? And we all have 1,000 things going on. And, well, interestingly enough, we'll talk about it a little bit later on, but one of the recipients is sort of like 1 degree of separation. Like, and I don't want to say too much more because I don't want to reveal more about her identity. Right. But suffice it to say, I have been in the same areas as she has. Yeah. And it just reminded me that you never know what someone is going through.
Yes.
You really don't. And yeah, that person might have cut you off in traffic, but what if they had just got the call that this was their, parent or grandparents' last hour of life and they need to get there right now? Like, you don't know
you really
what's
don't.
going on.
No.
And someone with an incredibly kind heart is there and they're helping you. And maybe you forget to say thank you. Like, you just whatever, it doesn't happen. You don't think about it for whatever reason. But you have no idea what they might be dealing with a child and a battle they're fighting with their health or something like that. And your thank you can mean so much more than just for that thing you're saying thank you to.
It's so true.
Sometimes it's a validation that you got this.
Yeah.
Keep on going. Even though they're completely unrelated and the person may not know about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we're facing battles in our lives, just to hear positive feedback from someone in the form of a thank you is incredibly powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Just keep going. It's like a rally cry of, we see you and you're doing great work.
Yes.
So keep at it.
Yes. And in a world where there's constant information, constant connection, so much social media, the one thing we don't do is see each other.
Yeah, totally.
And I think when you say that, we see you. I mean, I don't mean heart.
Yeah.
Thumbs up you. I mean, I see you.
Yes.
And I'm here to support you in your human experience kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I love that. Well, and that's what always feels so great about the Airdrie Angel program is that you really never know what people are going, and it's an opportunity for some of those stories to be brought to light. And speaking of gratitude, I think it's remembering this is like such a great, weekly, monthly reminder, to us that you don't ever know. And there's people right next door or right in your building or in your family that are going through stuff that you're like, oh, wow, like this is worthy of telling a story, and getting to hear all those situations just sort of makes your mind more curious of opening it up to.
Well, and I think that's partly why we want to share the stories of our recipients, because sometimes when you hear what someone else is facing, it gives you strength to face what you're facing in your life. But sometimes it also puts into perspective.
Yes.
So we can all have a bad day and the barista puts the wrong milk in your coffee.
Yes.
But is that really that bad relative to your child having surgery at the children's hospital?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll take the milk.
Exactly.
I'll deal with the bloating.
So, yeah, exactly. But we want to help put things into perspective for people. But the whole idea is to let these people know that they're not alone. Because sometimes when you're facing that kind of a battle, personally, it can be very isolating.
Yeah.
And you just kind of keep your head down and you try and push through. And when there's someone that taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, there's a whole lot of people that care.
Yeah, we see you.
We see you.
Totally.
Yes.
Who thought?
I love that. We see you.
Awesome.
The Real Purpose podcast is brought to you by The Car Group, a real estate team that wants you to love your community as much as your home. Real estate with real purpose. Visit thecargroup.ca today. Okay, Suzy, so let's get into our Airdrie Angel stories for November. Our first one is Stacy and Mike, and they have a little girl named Ruby who is the sweetest thing. And they also have a son named Theo who's so thoughtful and kind. Ruby has had some health issues. So Stacy did a really great job of sort of explaining the history of what she's been going through. So I'll let her tell the story, and then I'll tell you a little bit about my visit with them. So I'm sitting here with you, Stacy and Mike, and you are one of our recipients for the November Airdrie Angel. I understand tomorrow's a big day for your little girl, Ruby.
Yes.
She's having surgery to put in a halo.
Yes.
Which she has scoliosis.
Yeah.
And this will prevent her body from crushing her internal organs.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
I know.
That's just heavy to hear. I can't imagine what it's like for you guys.
Yeah, totally.
So tell us a little bit about her journey.
So she's had quite a little life under her for being only 6, but this is actually her second time around doing this.
Okay.
Which has been like a really hard blow to us, just having like geared up to do this again. She has something called Goldenhar syndrome, and it's basically a condition that leads to a lot of just skeletal and physical abnormalities. And it's just created a lot of problems in her development physically, kind of thing. So she was at a point that her scoliosis was so severe that it was impacting the growth of her lungs and her heart. It was like crushing her internally, basically.
Wow.
So she went through Halo a couple of years ago, and she had these magic rods inserted, they're called. So if you think you have this little 3-year-old, she still has to grow.
Yes.
So you can't just put stiff rods in a body.
Yeah.
They have to grow with the child. So there are these magnetic rods that they can adjust outside of the body.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
incredible.
crazy. So she had those done and has been thriving for 2 years. But in May, she had her rods exchanged. She had a lot of some other physical stuff that came up. She had to have a feeding tube placed. So now she isn't able to eat orally anymore, which is a challenge all in itself, because how do you tell like your 5-year-old that they don't eat food anymore?
Oh my goodness.
So she has this feeding tube, and then she developed this horrible bone infection, and it like affected her whole rod system. So they had to take everything out, and we're basically starting over again tomorrow. So she's going back in Halo because she's regressed curvature wise, and then they will get her. What Halo will do is straighten her spine in kind of like a natural way with using gravity.
Okay.
So that when they put the rods in, they're in a better position, they're a better starting point.
So are these magnetic rods again?
Yeah.
So it's the same idea, just
Exactly.
a do-over, for lack of a better term.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. And then will she have the Halo for 3 months or forever?
For 3 months.
And then the rods
Yes.
go in.
Yes. So then when they take her out of Halo and that traction is taken off, then they'll put her rods in to help keep that spine and that progress they've made in terms of correction.
Right.
They'll keep that in place.
So it's 2 surgeries.
Yeah.
And so the first one is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which means, and she'll be in hospital for all 3 months while she has the Halo.
Yeah.
Which will take us over Christmas.
Yeah.
You have a son,
Yeah.
Theo, who is 9.
Yeah.
That's a big shift for the family. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys have done this before,
Yeah.
but you've done this before.
Right.
So,
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It's a little hard going into, because I just remember when it was over, it was just like, we did it.
yeah,
Never again.
right.
And just knowing that that has come up again is like been just a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
I mean, we know it, so we know what to expect, so there's that, but it doesn't make it any easier on anyone.
But it's got to be so hard on you guys. I mean, one, trying to maintain normalcy for your son,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
trying to be a marriage,
Yeah.
and also trying to help this daughter of yours who is sick and healing from surgery and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you're pulled in so many directions.
Yeah, definitely.
When we put this package together, our hope was that it would help bring support and stability as you're going through this, because it's so difficult for someone to imagine what this must be like for you, and we know it's a path you will charge down because you've done it before, you'll do it again.
Yeah.
But we hope it makes this walk a little bit easier for you guys.
That's amazing.
So the first thing we have for you guys is toys, and they're from our friends Tara and Jason DeWeird. So they did this really cool thing at their Christmas party last year where people brought gifts. So we've been able to give some toys out to our families all throughout the year. So, are you into Lego, Theo?
Yes.
All right, this should keep you occupied because it's 8 to 14 and you're 9. So hopefully it keeps you occupied for more than 10 minutes.
Thanks.
I also have some My Little Ponies. Do you love those?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome, you guys. We know it's going to be a tough time with you being in the hospital, Ruby, and I know you're a pretty awesome big brother, so we just want to make sure you guys have a couple things to do while you're hanging out as a family at the hospital.
Mom,
That's
this
going to
is
be fun.
no one.
So we also have 2 blankets. This one is for you.
Thank you.
So these blankets are from Project Linus, and what they do is they make blankets for kids that are just dealing with different challenging things. So like a little girl that's going for surgery, and like a fine young man like Theo who's trying to support his little sister going through surgery. The next item we have for you guys is a gift certificate for Summerhill Florist. So you can brighten the hospital room with some flowers or something like that. Next, from Refurbish Inc., we have a $100 gift card for Mike and Theo to go and get fishing supplies.
What?
Anna Spa and our daddy-daughter hair day. It's an annual fundraiser we do, so we pool funds together. So Anna's has donated a $100 gift certificate, and then with funds from daddy-daughter hair day, we added another $100 for a spa gift certificate to Anna Spa for you. So I know you're going to be at the hospital a ton with Ruby, but if there's a moment or a day, please take some time for yourself.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that's so nice.
The staff at the City of Airdrie have a $200 cash card for you for parking and travel and all the stuff that's going to come up.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
Orange Fitness has donated a $200 gift card for a family dinner out for you guys. 100 Men Who Give a Damn have donated $200 in fuel gift cards for you guys.
Oh
I hope
my
that'll help.
gosh.
Big Springs Plumbing and Heating have donated a $200 gift card for groceries for you guys. So something to take off your plate, don't worry about.
Thank you.
And finally, Venue Church has donated a $500 cash check for you for anything that you may need.
That's so crazy. Oh my gosh, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You guys are the little family that is so mighty and strong, and we just want to lift your spirits and help you guys go down this difficult road, but a road that you guys are willing to face as a family.
We've never felt such a sense of like support and like army behind us as we do here. Like, it's amazing.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So Ruby is the sweetest little girl. As we were sitting there and finishing up, she comes over and then she just gives me a hug.
Wow.
And so obviously I'm all about the hugs.
Yeah.
So I was hugging back. I'm like, I wasn't sure if I would hurt her or not because she is, I don't know how much pain she's in prior to surgery and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not hurting you, am I? And she, oh no, not at all. And she was just the sweetest thing.
Aww.
She was so excited about these little My Little Ponies.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
I loved My Little Pony when I was a kid.
Right?
It's
Well,
my
and I
favorite.
had consulted with Smith, my daughter. I said, do you think she'd like these? Is it like the right age? And Smith's like, yeah, I think it would be okay. And then I came home and I said she loved them. So it was a good choice. But
Wow.
yeah, it was, they were just such an amazing family. And what I realized when I was chatting with them is that to me, hearing this, I'm just like, oh my goodness, these people are so brave and have such courage.
Yeah.
This is the second time they're
Yeah.
going, like you shouldn't normally go through this twice. It should
No.
be a one and done
Yeah.
type surgery.
Yeah.
And I just thought, oh my goodness, I can't believe they're doing this. And then I realized, of course they are, because that's what you do.
That's what families do.
Exactly.
Yep.
They just go, all right, well, then if that's what we have to do, that's what we have to do. And they come together.
Yep.
And the strength of their bond was absolutely incredible. And I know that this package just sort of helped to add more strength
Totally.
to that already fantastic bond, already positive attitude.
Wow.
And we just want to wish Ruby well as she recovers from the surgery.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big hugs to all of them. They
Yeah.
sound incredible. The Real Purpose podcast is brought to you by Switchback Creative, a branding and web development company that is committed to telling the story of your brand. Check out Switchback at switchbackcreative.ca.
Our next story is a family from Airdrie, of course, and their son has been going through various cancer treatments. And in the conversation, you'll hear sort of what they've been battling and how they've been approaching this. But again, a family with a child who is sick and going into the hospital and never knowing what's going to happen. But then the dad was also in a car accident. So some of these families, it's just one thing after another.
Wow.
So I really hope that this was a shining light for their day. So I'll let you hear our conversation.
So you guys are our second recipients for November.
Okay.
And I understand your family has been facing a lot of different things. So you had brain surgery last February,
Yes.
and do you still have a tumor?
Yes, it's still currently there.
Okay.
Started chemo June of last year.
Okay.
Did 9 months of it. It didn't work.
It was
Wow.
not effective.
9 months and it
9
wasn't
months.
effective at all.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he has a IV port that he was doing his IV chemotherapy, and then it was like March of this year that we found out it wasn't working. In April he got into the car accident. Then we had to try and decide what kind of chemo to go on next. So it was really hard. And then so we finally decided on another chemo. He was on that for 6 months, and they've said that's not effective as well.
Wow.
So we go next week to try and decide, or this week coming up, I guess, to decide now what. Like, what do we try another chemo? What kind of chemo? So it's been hard.
And the surgery was just to drain.
Yeah.
It wasn't removing anything.
The tumor is deep inside his brain,
Oh, wow.
right in his memory, coordination, comprehension, movement, all in that area. So it's
It's too
non-surgical.
risky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't. And they can't do radiation because in the past when they've used radiation on those types of tumors, it's actually changed them from benign to malignant. And so it's like the last resort, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What's it like for you? Are you scared?
I try not to be. Try to just stay happy most of the times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You seem like a pretty happy guy.
Yeah.
With considering everything that you're facing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Wow. And then I understand that your dad was also in a car accident this year. So, and you might be having surgery also.
Yeah, currently neck surgery coming up here within the next month. I
So
think.
it's booked, or well, almost booked.
Yeah, they said that if it would be around Christmas time, it would be the best for them. So I just said yes. So
Yeah.
I just want it done.
Wow. That's a lot for your family. And there's 2 other kids in the family as well. So you guys are clearly a strong family to face everything that's been going on in your lives. We've got your story. You were nominated for the program. And what we've done is we've put together a package for you guys. And we hope that it will help out a little bit, because if you're having surgery, that's probably time off work.
I've been off for the last probably a little over 5 months.
Oh, wow. Well, we hope this package lifts your spirits. The first item we have for you is from Loving Hands Partners in Care, and they have a gift certificate for you, Mom, to get your nails done.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you know what? When you're facing all of this stuff, sometimes it's nice to have a moment for yourself, and we know the load that moms bear. So, Abdon Massage has a 1-hour massage for whomever would like to have that. Big Springs Plumbing and Heating has donated a $200 gift card for groceries.
Wow.
For
That's
you guys.
Amazing, yeah.
Because that has been a struggle financially.
100 Men Who Give a Damn have donated a $200 gift card for fuel.
Wow.
The Airdrie, Montana's location has donated a $200 gift card for a family dinner out, so you guys can go and have a night out. So Redline Real Estate, our company, did a fundraiser and they donated to Airdrie Angels. So because of that, we have a $200 gift card to help with parking and travel, and just because you guys have a lot on the go and in and out of the hospital and all that kind of stuff. And as you know, we have tickets for you guys from Kids Up Front. Now, you guys were able to go to the hockey game this past week. How was it?
It was amazing.
Yeah? You liked it?
Tell her what happened at the game.
It was like the first team got, the other team got a point, then we got a point, then they got a point, then we got a point, then we got a point, then we got a point.
And then one
it was
more.
5 to 2.
5 to 2.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
what happened
we
in the
had fun.
stands that you had never seen before?
The wave.
You guys did the
they
wave?
actually got the wave going. It took a long time, and I was trying to explain it because they've never seen it.
Yeah.
And anyways, it did get going all the way around.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
It's a pretty cool thing to be a part of, isn't it?
The mascot always scares me, but my brother pointed it out, and I wasn't really scared that time.
So you guys were able to go to the game because of Kids Up Front. They have tickets that they donate. We also have access to some Hitman games as well. So if you guys would like to do that as a family, we can certainly set you up with that too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, well, the last thing we have for you guys is a check for $500 from Venue Church.
Oh my goodness.
$500.
Wow.
And that is for anything that you guys
bills
might need. Yeah. Well, that's a hard thing, right? You know, with being off work and, you know, it's not what you're used to financially. It can be really challenging. And we want you guys to be able to focus on your kids and on healing and getting better. And we hope that this takes a little bit off your shoulders as far as a financial burden.
It's really
And
sweet.
helps you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
They were such a sweet family.
Oh.
So the way this one worked out, we had reached out to Kids Up Front to see if they had tickets to a game or anything like that. And they did.
Yep.
So before we even met with them, we had reached out to them, said, you know, you've been selected. One of the things we have is tickets to a game in 3 days.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to go?
Totally.
So they did go. They went to the game, and as you can hear,
Oh my gosh.
they had a great time. And I think, you know, this is such a good example of gratitude. When you hear a child
Everywhere.
say, I've never seen the wave,
Yeah. Totally.
like, I don't think about it. I've
I
been
know.
fortunate. I've been able to go to different games and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But to actually see people doing the wave for the first time, I mean, I think it's really cool every time.
Yes.
When people all work together for something like that. But this was such an interesting moment for this child. It was, you know, that's just something they'd never seen before.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were just such a great family, though. They're all rallying around their son. And I can't even imagine. I mean, it's inoperable cancer and or an inoperable tumor, I should say. And nothing's working to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So it's just...
Yeah, that's awful going through that. But yeah, there were probably, 15 points in those stories that made me think those are amazing gratitude things that you just never think of, that you could be thankful for somebody else getting to be a part of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
incredible.
Amazing stories. All right, so for our purpose pick this week, Trevor and I actually found a great TED Talk, and it's called "Want to Be Happy? Be Grateful." So it seemed perfect for this week's theme, and it just really fitting. And I think I couldn't pronounce his name at all, so of course I don't remember it, but I feel like he was like a monk or something like that. That was kind of speaking about it. But I mean, he talked about a lot of the things we talked at the beginning, where it's like it has nothing to do with if you're happy, then you can be grateful. It has to do with being grateful makes you happy, right? So it's such a simple premise, but he was just saying, think of all the most joyful, happy people you know, and you think of even just those two families we heard, and they just seem to have a lot of joy and gratitude and strong family unit within them amongst probably the worst time of their entire lives.
Yes.
Hopefully, they never go through anything worse than this.
Yeah.
And there's so much gratitude there, and that he's saying once you can notice the gratitude and really point that out to yourself and be in the moment of those things, that's what will make you happy, not the other way around. So thought that would be a great pick, good little video to watch, and he just seems like a really soothing guy to watch.
We'll put the link in the show notes so people can go and check that out if they would like to, but that is absolutely fantastic. I love it. And we want to challenge you guys that are listening to this, think about how you can bring gratitude into your life, whether it's paying attention to the simple stuff, like the color of the leaves changing and the fact that you can just see it, or the freedom to drive a car, or whatever the case may be. But I also want to challenge them to take on your idea, Suzy, to text your gratitude. Let's use technology for something positive.
Totally.
And text people that you're grateful for, or that have done something that you're grateful for. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm going to do that myself. I think
I love it. All right, guys. Well, that's it for this episode. If you enjoyed this, please leave a comment below. If you're watching it on Facebook or Instagram, of course, like it and share it and heart it and all the things. And if you're listening on podcast platform or a podcast platform like Anchor or iTunes, Google, Spotify, subscribe. Please subscribe. And then you'll never miss an episode. And we will always be in the list of podcasts. Mm-hmm. And finally, if you know someone in the Airdrie area that could use a lift to the spirit, please go to airdrieangel.ca and nominate them today.
Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. And until next time, we're wishing you real purpose in all that you do.